सर्वधर्मस्वरूपाय अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So let's continue our study of the Gita. Second chapter. So last we saw this sloka. Traigunya Vishya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna Nidvanto Nitya Satvasto Niryoga Kshema Atma. So all these problems arise because of our involvement in these items which are of dvanda or of the nature of opposites. So, Traigunya Vishya Veda, the Vedas largely deal with the material aspects of life. That's a major portion. The last of the few uh, chapters are the last portion is called Vedanta, which is the subject dealing with transcendent life, life beyond death, moksha, etc., etc. So here, Sri Krishna is apparently is talking about Vedas full of Traigunya Vishya because that is what majority of the people, the Karma Kandins, those with the Purumi Mangsha, they were all largely dealing with that only. The Nyayikas, Vaisheshikas and others, many others, they all thought that doing the Vedic Karma Kanda is all one has to do in life. जीवन में और कुछ करना ही नहीं है. आप वेद में जो कहा गया वही करते रहो, वो सबको कुछ फल होगा, वही फल की वजह से आप स्वर्ग वगैरह चले जाओ, खत्म होने के बाद फिर वापस आओ, फिर कर्म करो. So this is what they were not even believing in any other higher ideal or moksha, etc. So but Gita is really moksha shastra, just as because it's the essence of all Upanishads, etc. The Upanishads are essentially are moksha shastras. They tell you as to how to get the ultimate liberation, ultimate knowledge, how to go beyond all that. Why? Because it is essential. Otherwise, whatever one might say, karma kanda and all that, the reality is all this participation brings tremendous amount of sorrow and suffering. Endless sorrow, endless suffering. One may be very rich, one may be very poor, one may be healthy, one may be not healthy, sickly, one may be a man, woman, young, old. Everybody is suffering endlessly in this world. That's why the Buddha very, very clearly summed up the whole life and philosophy of Buddhism. Essentially, if you take it, life is full of dukkha. Is it? That's unavoidable. The suffering or the dukkha or the misery of life is something is unavoidable, inviolable law of existence. उन्होंने बोला इसका कारण क्या है? तृष्णा, desires. Desire is the root of all that. But then he said, yes, there is a way out. इसकी पार होने की एक रास्ता भी है, मार्ग भी है. वो क्या है? अष्टांग मार्ग. That is said as the eightfold path of yoga, according to Buddhism. So, but no, there was a very big school of philosophers and others who believed that doing the Vedic karmas, whatever is ordained in the Vedas, is all that is needed in life. So that is why, Shankaracharya and others, why they took that extreme idea that one should go beyond karma. Karma has to be given up. At one time, you have to completely abandon all work. Then only you will get the highest moksha realization or Atma Jnana. Shankara is very, very emphatic. Why? Because if you give a little space, again they will all come back and say that this is all you have to do. This is all you have to do. So that's why he put it very clearly. Yes, you have to Shastrokta karma, you have to do at some time. Nitya Naimittika is okay. But at some part of time, you have to completely Sometimes totally give up all action. And in fact, he even says very strongly in Vivek Chudamani that unless you take to sannyasa, nothing is possible. Even he, again and again, he hammers in Vivek Chudamani. So that is why, of course, Sri Krishna puts it very mildly. Veda is full of Traigunya Vishaya. It talks about, because all that you do in this material world, your gains and losses, your sorrows, suffering, sukha, dukkha, pleasure, pain, everything, they're all within the domain of the gunas. गुण की वजह से सत्व तम सत्व रज तम ये तीन गुणों के कॉम्बिनेशन से कहाँ से ये अधिक है, कहाँ से वो अधिक है, sometimes this is more, sometimes that is less. Ultimately, it's a combination of these gunas that what constitutes his earthly existence or this existential life. So that is why he says, Nistray Gunyo Bhavaji. Go beyond the guna. It's very easy. बोलना तो सहज है. कैसे जाए? There he says, what is it that, what is the play of gunas? What does it result in? What is the result of all that? Dvanda. Because the pair of opposites, sukha, dukkha, pleasure, pain, happiness, sorrow, all that. If you, when you go beyond gunas, you become nirdvanda. There is no dvanda. Supposing, imagine a life where you are beyond sorrow and suffering, beyond sukha and dukkha. Absolutely, he'll be the most wonderful person on earth. क्योंकि for anything, any small thing, either we get sukha or we get dukkha, either we get pleasure or we get pain. But supposing you can stay calmly, ठीक है, जो होना हुआ. Sometimes it is good, sometimes it is bad. That is the very nature of life. ये आता रहेगा, जाता रहेगा. It will keep coming and going. कोई ही रोक नहीं पाएगा इसका. If we understand that, and then if you don't participate completely, what happens? You completely swayed totally. Aisa maja, aisa ye. And so much suffering, so much dukkha, both extremes. So, if you want to really be, what will be the idea of going beyond gunas? Nistray gunyo bhava. You become nirdvanda. And then nitya sattvasta. That is your, in the inimmutable purity of it. Nitya sattva. You're ever established in that sattva. You are always, and how that is possible? When you become Atmavan. But you be established in the spirit, in the inimitable purity of it, having abandoned all materials, attachment to possessions and concern. When you give up all that, then only you become completely Nistre Guna. Nitya Sattva is ever established, ever steady in purity. Nitya Sattva, the total pure nature of the Atman, which is beyond all these bandhas, beyond all problems, beyond all opposites. Niryoga Kshema. Not only that, he says you give up. See, why do we seek all that? It is Yoga Kshema. Earthly life, इसमें जो सुख के लिए, सुविधाएं के लिए, that is called Yogakshema. Being involved in this worldly seeking of prosperity and convenience and comforts and so on. See, the more and more we pay attention to this, more and more we will be getting involved in the gunas. मान लीजिए आपकी income बढ़ाना है, सुविधाएं बढ़ाना है, you have to travel to many places, meet many people, you have to participate, you have to enjoy, you have to do all that. All that would mean getting involved in the gunas. So that is why, I say up the case in SAR maybe, there are people, there are people who are extremely satisfied and happy with say 20,000, 30,000 rupees salary per month. There are people who are totally dissatisfied even with 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs. Why? Because they want more and more yogakshema, more comforts, more pleasure, more conveniences, more goods, more enjoyments. That means what? You have to exact more, you have to strive more, to struggle more. There will be conflicts, there will be problems, there will be difference of opinions, interests, and so on. All that will only involve a more and more greater play of the gunas. So the more and more you get involved in the gunas, you are gone. So if you want to go beyond gunas, You must practice the idea of nirdvanda, getting rid of the opposites, niryogakshema, not caring too much for worldly prosperity, enjoyment, comforts, conveniences, etc. See, that doesn't, Sri Krishna doesn't mean that you abandon everything and die. No. Come, whatever comes, you take. अच्छा, you make some effort. Success हुआ नहीं हुआ, ज़्यादा उसी से प्रभावित नहीं हो. That's the way. Then, if you do all that, you become Atmavan. Only by being established in Atmavan, only if you're an Atmavan, then only it's possible for you to go beyond gunas, because when you're established in guna, in Atma, when you know fully that you are that Atman, you are that immutable spirit which is beyond birth, death, or all opposites, then you're firm. You're a Sthita Prajna. You're totally established. Of course, we'll come in detailed description about this Sthita Prajna, but essentially, this is what would give you that Nistrayi Gunya. And then it's a very, again it continues. Yavanartha Udapane Sarvata Samplitodake Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanataha. What is the Yavanartha Udapane? What is the value of a tank or a pond? एक तालाब की क्या प्रयोजन है? आप देखें, आप बाहर से or out of floods, the entire area is totally flooded. इतनी पानी है, आप अलग से तालाब में कोई जाके ले जाएगा क्या, ढूंढेगा क्या? मैं तालाब के हर रोज तालाब से पानी ले आता. Will you go and search the pond when the whole place is flooded with water? जहां देख रहे हैं पानी से पानी, और कुछ नहीं. Then you just use that flood water itself. So just as a person, no one will have a use for water if the entire place is flooded for a particular pond. Similarly, Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vicharate. A Brahmana, here Brahmana means a great sadhaka, who is full of knowledge and wisdom, Vijanataha. For him, what is the use? Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu. सारे वेद में जितनी कर्मकांड की बात है, जितनी अनुष्ठान की बात है, what is the use of a person who is a true knower, who is a person full of wisdom? What is the use of such a person of all the details of the Vedas? Ved में जितनी आपके कहा गया. So there are hundreds and thousands of rituals and yagas and yajnas and that. For this purpose, is that purpose, is that purpose. Because he has got the ultimate. If a person has got the ultimate knowledge, when he understands all these are all absolutely purposeless, meaningless. Whatever you do, they are going to die one day. They are going to be destroyed one day. They are going to be not there one day. When you understand that, then you don't look at it at all. Is it not? When everything is completely solved, the mystery of life, what it is, what is birth, what is death, what is going to happen. A person who knows everything about the impermanent nature of this life, all that we seek, all that we possess, all that we cherish, all that we desire, all that lead to nothing. अंत में कुछ भी नहीं है, एक दिन सब छूट जाए, कुछ भी नहीं रहेगा. When you know that fully, then you're no longer, your craving will not be there. अच्छा उसे लेना ही है, किसी वक्त लेना है, नया मॉडल आया, मेरा लेना ही है. That will not be there. Because अरे ठीक है, काम चला जा रहा है, no problem. Whatever is there, I can manage. कुछ आ जाए, कोई दे दे, ठीक है. So that kind of resignation. So for instance, that's why a person of knowledge, he does not really bother about all the great details of the Vedas. They have no use for such a person, because he has already known the ultimate thing. He has got the essence. वेद में जो एसेंस है, जो वेदांत है, वेद के सार जो है, अब इतनी सारा. That's why all the first, it starts with all the karma kandas, all the rituals, all the processes, so that slowly you do something, then you understand. As we go forward, finally all this will lead to nothing. सब तो एक दिन खत्म होने वाला ही है. Then such a person will no longer be interested in the full details of the Vedas. For him, they have no use. Just as a place is flooded with water, you don't have to go and separately search for the water, the pond. Then comes the one of the most cardinal, oft quoted slokas of Gita. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phale heturбhu ma te sangosya karmani. So here, because no, this portion deals with karma, the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. So he clearly gives a prescription. What exactly is karma yoga? How are you to do? Because everybody is doing karma. You are also doing. I am also doing. Every person is doing. Why people are suffering ultimately? Why again and again there are difficulties? Why people want to run away from karma? क्यों ऐसे भागना क्यों चाहते हैं? And why in some schools, why even in certain schools of Vedanta, even great acharyas have ultimately prescribed that don't do karma, give up everything. Why? Because karma itself means phala. Any karma will produce result. Whatever you do, supposing you do like this, it produces sound. You use the mic, you hear others. So anything that you do, any action will produce a result. It cannot be free from results at all. Whatever you do, आप तो उससे कुछ फल होने वाला ही है. But what Gita says, you have the right to work. कर्मणि एव अधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन. He does not say that it will not produce any result. Gita does not say that there won't be any result at all. There will be result. But don't try to appropriate to yourself. हम लोग कैसे करते हैं? कुछ फंक्शन हुआ, अच्छा हुआ, जानते हो कौन सब अरेंज किया? मैंने किया. कौन बुलाया? Who did all the arrangement? Who did all the program? Who prescribed who is to be invited? Who is to everything? A to Z. I had to do myself. The moment anything happens, immediately I everywhere it starts endlessly. That's why you say you have the right to do. Not only right, you will also say, yes, said in many other places. Jatasya hi, no, the nahi kachit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarma krit. Karyate havasya karma sarvam prakriti guni. It's the nature of Prakriti. Here he says, you have the right, not only right, there he clearly says, you cannot but avoid working. Sadisham cheshite swasya prakritir jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani igraha kinkarshisi. Even jnanavan, even great people, even if they tried, sadisham cheshite, जितने भी प्रयास करें, कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. क्यों? प्रकृति की वजह से हम सबको ऐसे घुमाएंगे, ऐसे करवाएंगे. They will involve, you will have to do. No one can avoid work even for a moment. The moment you are born, you are fully into it. That is the normal nature. Of course, through intense sadhana, through other practices, and all that. See, ultimately, in this karma yoga, what is the essence? Karma yoga is giving a direction to your karma. कर्मा के ऐसे कोई मार्ग में चला दें. Turn it in such a way that this karma becomes a yoga. Yoga is actually getting linked to the highest idea, highest liberation, highest moksha, link with the God, link with the ultimate, link with something extraordinary. Yuj, Dhatu say. That is why yoga. So karma, normally all of us, millions, billions, everybody who is born, everyone who is there, everyone in this world, we all do karma. So karma produces results, karma produces attachment, karma produces bondage, because karma itself means Dvaita. आप है तुम हो, आप है मैं हूं. Unless there is I and you, unless there is a duality, unless there is a second entity, karma is not possible at all. आपका एक हाथ में क्या ताली बजाते, आप तो दो चाहिए. So everywhere, unless there is a duality, unless there is a second entity, karma is not possible at all. So karma basically means that it is opposed to non-duality. Because karma implies duality. So that is why those who advocate the highest idea of non-duality, they say that you don't do any karma at all. If you want to avoid duality, if you want to achieve total oneness, if you want to be established in Atman or Brahman, there should not be any duality. There should not be you and me. There should not be any second entity. So avoid karma. Because karma is possible only if there is a second entity. But then, the whole world is full of karma. He himself says the moment you are born, you cannot avoid doing well. Even great jnanis cannot avoid doing well. Then what is the way? How are we to proceed in life? How to attain to that state of oneness, that total calmness, which is free from all that? That is what, so there is a great contradiction that way. So, different acharyas give different interpretation. That's why Thakurman Swamiji, their interpretation is so valid, so meaningful, because Swamiji also advocated completely this idea of karma yoga. Nishkam karma is one of the favorite themes of Swamiji. Swamiji clearly says karma yoga will take you to the same highest goal which a Jnana Yoga or a Bhakti Yoga or Raj Yoga will take. Is emphatic, as clearly said in so many words. It will not take you to lesser goal. But here karma means duality, karma means bondage, karma means results. How do you analyze? How do you understand this? So Swamiji says, see, that is where probably he slightly, there is an apparent deviation from what Shankara said, because Shankara is very emphatic. Acharya Great Shankara, Shankara Bhagavad Pada clearly says that unless you give up karma, you cannot get the highest knowledge or mukti or Atma Jnana or Brahma Jnana. But Swamiji says you keep on doing. Why? Because by reading all that, people who are not really prepared for such a state of mind, they were artificially trying to give up karma, close their eyes and sit. Nothing would happen. See, आप आपके हाथ से, पैर से, शरीर से, इंद्रिय से नहीं कर सकते हैं, लेकिन आप मन में हजारों कर्म में लिप्त रहे, क्या फायदा है? You are not doing anything by your indriyas. You are not using your hands or feet or other body or anything. You are saying, I'm not doing any karma. You are sitting quiet. But the mind is 1,000 times active. It's involved. इससे अभी अमेरिका चले जाते हैं, अभी यूरोप जाता है, अभी किसी को गाली दे रहा है, किसी को तारीफ कर रहा है. It keeps on indulging in 1,000 other things, far more active. In fact, sometimes you will see that when you are deeply engaged or engrossed in any work, your mind is far more peaceful and calm than when you are sitting quiet. Because when you are sitting quiet, the mind is terribly restless. It goes to 1,000 directions. But when you are fully concentrated on any work, that's the only thing. Your mind is only thinking about that, nothing else. Suppose you are making a mala, you are arranging some arghya for Thakur, you are making some preparation for some. That's the only thing, nothing else. So what is this? Then is it not possible at all that state of calmness which Shankara talks about? Is Swamiji telling something different? No, Swamiji says you need preparation. आपकी तैयारी चाहिए. Simply from a restless mind, अब कितनी लोग, महाराज मैं तो ध्यान में बैठता हूँ, बिल्कुल मन इधर उधर भटकता है, क्या करो? करेगा भाई. आप सुबह से शाम तक ऐसे कुछ करते रहो. If you do terribly restless things from morning to evening, and suddenly if you go and sit, how will the mind become quiet? It's only be repeating whatever you did during the whole day. इतना तक नहीं है. इस जन्म का कितनी साल कर चुके हैं हम लोग, और पूर्व जन्म की बात भी करता रहता है शास्त्र हमेशा. It always says that you carry forward the impressions of the previous births. तो इससे कहाँ छुटकारा कहाँ है? How do you get rid of all that? That's why Swamiji says, do intensely. See, one of our very senior Swamis, he was Mahapushpa's disciple. He used to say, it seems, Shuddhananji used to ask him. Shuddhananji was one of the very favorite disciples of Swamiji. So he asked him to write the Mat rules were written by Shuddhananji actually. Swamiji did, of course, he read out to Swamiji and did some correction. But largely they were all framed by Shuddhananji. He was so brilliant. And Swamiji was so happy with him. And he was equally Jnana, Bhakti, Yoga, Karma, सब में निपुण थे. He was a great worker, great achiever, great Shastrajna, everything. Since he used to ask this Swami, do you know what is Karma Yoga? You must do to such an extent, almost to the point of breaking down completely. जैसे आप मृत्यु तक पहुंच गए ऐसा. as if you are dying in that very atom. Then you'll realize what is Karma Yoga. Only through intense participation, through extreme involvement, touching the highest limits of participation, then you understand. From there, you come to the idea of Naishkarma or being free from that. So, as Swamiji clearly said, to such an extent, you get Chitta Shuddhi. क्योंकि आपके अंदर मन में इतने कूड़ा है, it's full of useless accumulations. How do you get rid of all that? By doing intense Nishkam Karma. By doing again and again, trying, suffering, getting blows, doing all that, then slowly the mind becomes prepared for that kind of state of calmness. Then the work automatically drops. Work, Swamiji never said work is the end of life. कर्म जीवन का अंतिम लक्ष्य उन कभी नहीं बोला. कर्म योगा is not the end of life or the lakshya of life. He clearly said Atma Gyan, knowledge of the highest, knowing who you are, Brahma Gyan, that is the highest knowledge. But the path he advocated was karma, karma yoga. Through that, you do such intensity. At one point of time, that drops off by itself. Karma has to drop off by itself. खुद ही उसका ऐसे निकलना. It should not be that you forcefully you try to give up. आपको बहुत सारी उदाहरण देते हैं ना. आप मान ली पेड़ में, सपोजिंग दिस अ ब्रांच, अब उसके खींच के निकालो तो देयर विल बी अ बिग मार्क देन. लेकिन खुद ही एक समय गिर जाए, then it won't leave a mark. So even it is a wound, it's getting healed. You peel off, it will leave a mark. But if you leave it to fall off by itself, it will go away without a mark. So Swamiji also, he was not differing from Shankara at all. He says you do it to such intensity, then you are saturated with that, then your other impurities of the mind will go, and slowly you will reach a state where you'll be capable of that kind of intense calmness, that true nididhyasa. When the mind completely settles in the deep dwelling on the Atman, or the highest truth, or the knowledge of the self, there's only that awareness. There is no mental activity. Yoga also talks of that. Chittavritti Nirodha is yoga, it says. All the vrittis of the mind should be completely controlled. Can they be controlled forcefully? अब एक रोकना कोशिश करते तो 1000 उदय हो जाता है. You try to control one vritti, you get 1000 more vrittis. So all yogas speak about the whole, same only. But the path advocated is different. Here Swamiji says you do it. This is because by nature we are all work-oriented. Gita also says that. But then convert it, leverage its advantage, use that to go forward in the spiritual. That's why he says, how is it possible? You do intense seva, intense nishkam karma. So that get you. How do you do that? Karmanne padikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You don't aspire for fruits. Fruits so jarur aayega, nikalega. No work, no effort will go without any result. Any effort has to produce a result. Whatever you do, even keeping quiet also produces a result. So when you say that, I have nothing to do with that, the very nature of your choice of work, ऐसे आप करते रहें दूसरे के लिए. Supposing you are serving a patient, supposing you are serving a sick person, you are teaching somebody, you are doing something, you are cleaning, you are coming to the ashrama or doing a thing somewhere else. When you always, constantly you understand, analyze, keep on doing it, then normally not much is left to seek result. कहीं आप कोई रोगी की सेवा कर रहे हैं, then what is the phala you can expect? If the rogi becomes all right, that is his good. You have nothing to aspire there. So when what Gita says, karmannevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachin, don't aspire for result, then your choice of work should be like that. Supposing we always do work where the phala is directed towards you, your promotion, your choice, your transfer, your house, your property, your vehicle, your dress, your relation, your wife, your husband, your children, your. All that will be phala oriented only. You cannot say, I want promotion, but I'm not. No, you are seeking phala. You work for that because you want promotion. So if you by choice itself, if you make work like that, such work, whereas as it is, the gross aspect of phala will all be other oriented, objective oriented. Whenever you participate in Nishkam Karma, whenever you participate in Seva Yoga, all that. But there also, what is the danger result? There, name and fame, recognition, tarif, all that. See that actually that is actually second stage that can even be handled. But if you directly our work itself, its very nature, the production of fruits will be of such a nature that is directly directed towards me. Obviously, such a work can never be a yoga. But when you do Nishkam Karma, you have no desire for fruits in this case, because it's all towards, supposing go on work in a flood area. You think that yes, the people should be liberated from that, taken out from that area, they must be fed. All these fruits are all, they are not directed towards you, they are all directed towards the beneficiaries, the object of your seva. So as Thakur said, Shiv Jnane Jeev Seva. So it is all directed to that. So at the first stage, most of it you directly get rid of what are the negative aspects of work, which always produce results, which always produce bondage, which always produce attachment, because all these are all directed towards the first step is done. Then what is the subtler aspect of it? Desire for name and fame, recognition. मैंने किया, मेरा भी क्यों नहीं करना दे रहे? That's also an attachment. आप किया, अभी दूसरे करे, दूसरे करने, आपका क्या है? करने दो. All these refinement will come as we keep on doing, as we keep on praying. They won't come in a day. To take it is a huge lifelong effort. अरे पिछली बार कितना अच्छा किया, मैंने बुलाया नहीं महाराज इस बार, ये क्या बात है? Attachment. Somebody else is doing, let the other person get the joy of doing it. I'll go and help. If it is not needed, I will keep quiet, I will do some other work. That is the practice of it. That is ma phaleshu, not looking at the fruits. I will come, I will participate, do anything. I will not say I should be given only this. Then that means you are looking at the fruits. Although it is apparently seva, within seva also you are building in your own desires, your own preference for a particular type of engagement. All this will produce attachment. So that's why he says you do intensely, because Sri Krishna does not say that you do not produce results. He only says don't appropriate the results yours. Anything. So many youngsters come. Oh Maharaj, he will say itna kiya, selection nahi hua, kya hua? No. Why do you say like that? So many benefits are coming to you. So prepare intensely. You may not succeed, you will succeed elsewhere. If not that, so much knowledge you have gained, so many new subjects you have studied, all these are all your value additions. Why don't you appreciate it that way? So, phala will always be there. Whenever you do, whenever there is an effort, it will be. But what Sri Krishna says is, don't try to appropriate it. So, in that, first is the gross. If you do whatever is towards yourself, towards your Yogakshema, as already has cleared, don't look at Yogakshema. If it is a Yogakshema oriented, all phala will be towards you. But if it is Seva oriented, the outward phala, the objective at the gross level, all phala will be towards others. But the subtler part of it, like name, fame, recognition, attachment for particular type of work, attachment to particular place, attached to particular instrument, these, that, all that, as we go along, as we practice, if there is diligence, if there is vichara, if there is viveka, slowly we can get it up. So phala cannot be avoided. So what does it mean? महाफलेश का अरे जैसे वैसे करो, आपको करने के लिए दिया, ये अच्छी से माला बना के दो तो ठाकुर के लिए, नहीं महाराज गीता से बोला महाफलेश कदा, मैं जैसे वैसे कर दूंगा. No, that is not Gita. Do it with great, that's why Swamiji gives emphasis, do it with great intensity. Put all your mind into it, all your effort into it. But don't think that I should put on this mala, or once I do it, and if it is used in the temple, everybody will come and admire. Who did this mala today? Who prepared it? So beautiful. Then, ekdam main phul jata hu. No, not that. That is avoiding the phala. And then he says, so he also said, does it mean that then I'll completely avoid any work? क्योंकि मैं काम करूं तो कर्म करूं तो फल बन ही जाएगा, फल तो उदय होगा ही होगा, वहां से फल बनेगा, क्या करूं? Should I avoid work? Because work itself means phala. Phala means attachment. Attachment means bondage. I don't want bondage. I want to be free from all that. I don't want work. Does he appreciate that? No. He clearly says, Ma karma phala heturbhu, ma te sangostu akarmani. That is, let not be the fruits be the motive for your action. Phala hetu be the motive. Phala karma hetu. Karma phala heturbhu. Let not the motive of fruits be the motive of fruits be the motive for your action. And finally, he clearly says at the same time, let not this idea uh, lead to indolence or inaction. Mate sangos to akarma. Don't get attached to inaction. ऐसे करते हैं मोनास्ट्री में भी, अरे इसे कर्म अच्छा नहीं है, let us not do all that, let me sit quietly, कुछ भी नहीं करूँगा. is more engaged, बैठ बैठ के दुनिया के सब चीज से, एक क्या हुआ वहाँ क्या हुआ. हम लोग को कई बार ऐसे चले जाते हैं, छोड़ भी दिया, ऑर्डर भी छोड़ दिया, कहाँ है, वहाँ से हर खबर लेते रहते हैं. This sadhu, where was he posted, who became month of such and such, what function is happening, what celebration is happening. What's the point? You can as well be here. अंदर आके सोचो ना, बाहर जाके सोचो. So they give much more information. मेरा इतना इंटरेस्ट, क्योंकि मैं जानता हूँ क्यों होगा, मेरा तो कुछ मैं देख लूंगा, बुलेटिन में आ जाएगा कहाँ की बातें. So we are not interested. But those are outside, they don't have access. So get more and more information. That is attachment. So he says, don't get to the delusion that being attached to akarmani, not doing anything, that will not give you any liberation. Because akarmani means physically you can be free. Can anyone free you from mental involvement, mental engagement? Nobody. Physically you may not do. You may not use your hands and feet, but you'll always be engaged. So, it's very, very, very important and very difficult to understand also, because karma is such a terrible thing. It produces such effects. All of us suffer again and again, misunderstanding, hurt. Somebody hurts you, injures you, speaks harshly to you. You have not done anything. All those things keep happening again and again. So, chhod ke chale jao. That's not the solution. Fight within that. Do again. Where did I go wrong? Somewhere I have contributed, otherwise it would not have come. These are all different aspects. But many would not understand. So when Swamiji came from the West and started the mission, योगानंद उन्हीं पहले ही झंडा उन्होंने उड़ाया. बोला नहीं ऐसा वो कहाँ से ले आए तुम? ठाकुर तो सिर्फ भगवान नाम की बात किया, तुम इसे काम नाम कहाँ से ले आए? फालतू पश्चिम देश से. You fought tooth and nail. Swamiji had to finally say, simply had to go into meditation to silence them, because तर्क में कुछ नहीं कर पा रहे थे. Because for every तर्क दूसरा तर्क दे रहे. And when he went into meditation, they became quiet. Then he said, आप कितना समझा ठाकुर का? How much have you understood? अनंत भावमय. उनका कोई सीमा नहीं है, असीमित. Infinite are these moods and bhavas of ठाकुर. सब कुछ उन्होंने बताया. I am not doing a single thing which is not told by him or not guided by him. Of all people, Master Marshal, so dear to Thakur, when they started the Sevashrama, it was initially called Sevashrama. Name was given by Swamiji. I think they were given some other name to that. They were serving people who will take people who are dying in the streets, bring them and serve them. Swamiji was so happy with that word. He was highly pleased by the spirit of service. तो कठिन है. रस्सा से उठा के लेके किसी सेवा करना इतना सहज है क्या? You can write prescription, but to handle them, to bathe them, to feed them, to give them medicines by your own hand, not easy. But Swami, but Master is saying, no, no, ये सब तो ठाकुर नहीं बोला. He was entertaining doubts. And mother went there. She says, मैं तो देख रहा हूँ ठाकुर विराजमान है. I see Thakur's presence here in this Shivashrama. शिवाश्रम में तो वो पूजा पूजा कौन करेगा? कुछ भी नहीं है, सिर्फ सर्व पेशेंट. आई सी ठाकुर प्रेजेंस, विराजमान है. इट्स ऑल हिज वर्क ओनली. मदर पुट हर सील, बस उन्होंने अपना हाथ से 10 रुपया दिया था उसे. अभी भी वो रखा है सेवाश्रम में. The 10 rupees note which mother gave as donation is still kept. Fortunately, they have not put in the bank and encashed it. It is still available for people to see. She said, no, it's all talk respect. So it's very difficult. So even now we struggle, even now, even why devotees, sadhus also get doubt. Youngsters, आते हैं तो साधु होना means आंख बंद करके बैठना. अरे जाओ, कितने ने जाओ, गौशाला जाओ, ऑफिस में काज करो, अकाउंट्स करो. सबसे कठिन है अकाउंट्स करो. मैं तो 30 साल किया. Then people they run away. अरे क्या है ये, कुछ भी नहीं है, ये तो यहाँ साधु फाधु नहीं है, ये सब काम करवाते. But they don't know how essential, why Swamiji has made such a beautiful scheme. But माँ बताती ना बंगला में, जे शॉय जे रॉय, जे नाश हो जे नाश हो. One who can bear and forbear, he succeeds. आप श्री राजा माँ कहते कुत्ता की तरह दरवाजे में पड़ा रहो, देखोगे कहाँ आपको उठा के ले जाएंगे. If you stay, struggle, over a period of time, even the least kind of a spiritual aspirant will see that his life is becoming better and better by the grace of Thakur Bharat Swami. इसलिए आपको धीरज चाहिए, लंबे समय तक करने के लिए मानसिक प्रस्तुति चाहिए, तब ये सब होगा. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम तत्सत. श्री राम कृष्ण.